3B of Fjordhammer. Sorry for the delay, guys. It's been kind of busy, but now you're going to get a review of the Warhammer World exclusive book, Nagash, the Undying King. And with me today, I've got Kye Baker, another really enthusiastic guy, co-host of the Realm Hoppers event, and just an overall awesome guy. So I hope you guys enjoy. And welcome, guys, to the next Fjordhammer book review. Joining me today is Kye Baker.
Good evening, Alex.
And today we'll be tackling a pretty special book. We'll be tackling Nagash, the Undying King by Josh Reynolds. This is Warhammer World exclusive book. You can't get it any other place than Warhammer World. And Kye here has been generous enough to get it for me, and I thought I'd bring him along to review it.
Well, it was only fair after I travelled all the way up to Nottingham to get it for you.
Well, you didn't buy it yourself, did you?
No, that's true. It's true.
But you did do me the favour of sending me the, every one of these books are numbered, and he sent me number 15 out of 1,000.
Yep, gutted. I bought 3 copies of it, sent you 15, and I've got myself 210.
See, that's a boring number, 210.
Yep, I
All
know.
right. So, a bit more info about the book. It was released on December 3rd, 2016, so it's pretty new. Again, it's Warhammer World exclusive, and one of the reasons I really wanted to sort of touch on this book, other than being the exclusive thing, is that it covers the Age of Chaos, and it covers death in a way we haven't seen before. And I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Alex. I mean, the part I loved about it is that it's not focusing on the Realmgate Wars that we've seen so much so far, but more of a, just after the Age of Myth has finished and the Age of Chaos is gathering speed.
Yeah, it really sort of shows a part of the fiction that hasn't been explored. Like, what was we've seen the end of the Age of Chaos, but this is really the beginning, the start of the fall of man and all the other races, I assume.
And what a wonderful book to do it with. I've read most of Josh's Age of Sigmar's works, and he is a phenomenal author, and this was just it was a pleasure to read. So, where should we lead the audience, Alex?
Well, we can do a brief plot summary, like not the entire thing, but it's set after the Battle of Burning Skies. For those of you who know what that is, that was the sort of final battle of the Age of Myth between Archaon and Sigmar, after which he lost his hammer and basically retreated from the mortal realms. And it's set a bit after that again, so Archaon also fought Nagash. And that sets up a pretty interesting situation and a pretty interesting world. Yeah,
we are in the realm of Shyish in the wake of the Great Necromancer's biggest defeat. Archaon has come in and cleaved his skull in twain and sent him back into Styx. So the book is an overview of the events happening in the realm of Shyish whilst Nagash is recovering.
Yeah, and there are some really, really good descriptions here of Nagash and how, what it means to kill the god of death. Like, you'd think that wouldn't work, just smashing his body, but it really shows how that actually affects him and affects the other guys in the Death faction and in Shyish itself.
You'll have to remind me of the book title. What's Realmgate Wars 10 book title? The Nagash one.
That's not more Dark of Night.
No, the last one, the one with Nagash in it. I forget the title name, but there's such a contrast between reading this book, where you hear Nagash's monologue, and reading that the Realmgate Wars 10 book, where Nagash is coherent and understanding and plotting and scheming. And in this book, where he's still an all-powerful god of death, but he's not coherent. It has fractured him, and even in this book, they talk about how his consciousness is. He is Shyish. He is the realm of death. He is there. He's just not in one place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The 10th book is Lord of Undeath, and I think this book also really the contrast between this book and the audio dramas where the first four Nagash had like a monologue. I think there's a really nice bridge there of the character of Nagash and his how he thinks and how he operates in this world. Like, have you listened to the audio dramas?
Sorry, Alex, I lost you there for about 20 seconds. Jumping back into the audio dramas. Yes, I've listened to all of them. I love the the almost Nagash endures, and even in the cliff notes of these books, every chapter you get a little bit of a Nagash's monologue, and reading those, I was in the Nagash voice from the audiobooks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just if you've ever listened to the audio dramas, that voice just sticks with you every time you hear Nagash.
So as you read these books when Nagash is talking, that voice is just the automatic go-to for me.
Yeah, the only thing I'm disappointed about that is that all of his text isn't in like bold uppercase letters like it is in.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. How do you know it's Nagash unless his entire sentences are in capitals? You know.
Yeah, I love that detail in like the End Times and in the other books, and
Yeah.
sort of missing it here.
Letters like tombstones. That's how it always reminds me.
Yeah, exactly. So this book actually follows Neferata, the Mortarch of Blood, Arcan the Black, the Mortarch of Sacrament, and Tamra, the first and the major new character of the book. And they're all fighting the Nurgle factions, who are now invading the realm of death. And how did you feel that those characters sort of worked out, and did you get a good feel for them when reading the book?
I'll tell you what, I got a completely new feel, especially for Arcan, and it's even in this book. Arcan becomes almost human in places. The writing style humanizes this ancient Lich Lord who before I've always thought of as an autonomous mouthpiece for Nagash, and here he almost gains his own sort of personality and flair, his own desires and weaknesses.
Yeah, Arkan's always been the one that's been the sort of the mini Nagash, the mouthpiece, as you mentioned, and sort of the guy whose will has been emptied by Nagash and is just a vessel for him, but you really get a different sense of him in this book.
And I think it's intentional. I think it's intentional writing by Josh. He talks in some places about while Nagash is fractured and broken, Arkan almost comes back into himself. When Nagash is whole, Arkan goes back to that automata mouthpiece role.
Yeah, there's I think that's a good trick by Mr. Reynolds to underline how the Arkan Nagash relationship works.
Yeah.
Especially some of Arkan's descriptions of dealing with Nagash in this book are just really, really fascinating and show a very different side of the Death faction than we might have imagined before.
Yep. I don't know if this is going on a bit of a tangent here, but one thing I picked up on whilst reading it was when Arkan and Neferata are talking about their what they remember and how long they've been alive, and at one point Arkan again talks about how he was made from memories. He's not the Arkan from the world that was. This is an Arkan that Nagash has brought into being to be that person that he remembers.
Yeah, that's a good point, because as undead characters, these guys would one would imagine they would remember their lives in the world that was, but
Hmm.
neither Neferata nor Arkan really have a very firm grip of their lives,
I
sort of
do
before
believe
the Mortal Realms.
it hints that they have an inkling of what it was and where it was, but there's no firm and solid memories for them. It's something in the back of their mind that's almost tickling at the edges of their consciousness, but it's not a firm memory. It's not something they recall being there for.
And I think that's a bit deliberate as well, because these aren't the Nagash, the Sigmar tier guys, because we know Sigmar remembers the old world, and we know uh, Ilario misses the old world, and that's why she created the Sylvaneth.
Hmm.
But these guys just have the sort of the vaguest memories of it, and I think that gives them a bit of depth, especially when we learn that Neferata sort of recreates Lamia later on.
Oh, and again in this book, the Undying King, she talks early on about her plans for New Lamia.
Oh,
It, it,
that's right.
it's like a simple one line little. This book, I mean, it's immense just for all of the little teasers and Easter eggs that are in it. Just simple one lines like at the end of near the end, Neferata talking about her future plans and just mentioning the word New Lamia. It just pulls everything together.
Yeah, I think that's one of the real advantages of Josh Reynolds writing this, because he's written almost half the novels for Age of Sigmar, and he's great at tying them all together and referencing and using the wider universe. And that stuff like that is all over this book, really.
And I mean, I'm trying to bring it back to the subject matter we started on, the characters in it. um, watching, I mean, again, the brilliance of the writing. Neferata's interwoven plots and plans and schemes that lasting for centuries and generations, and you even get to see some of these like century old schemes of hers come to bite her in the cute little behind. Where they haven't gone correct for right for her before, and the undead of centuries ago remember her and don't like her for it because she is always scheming and there is always a plot behind what she's doing, and this just gives a wonderful window into her schemes.
Yeah, absolutely, and it makes the world feel like it's existed. It's like it makes Neferata feel like a character that the other characters in the universe know and remember, and there's quite a few of them who are really just like, oh, Neferata, don't trust
There's
her.
there's so many people who are pissed at her from years gone by.
So there's the third sort of main character here is Tamra, who
I would even go so far as this is the focal point of the story. It's Tamra who binds the book together. It's her thread that you're really following with the big heavy hitters just being there to show and give a better view of why these things are happening to her.
yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any question that she is the protagonist, and she's an all new character. And do you feel like you know who she is after reading this book?
Yes, most definitely, Alex. I mean, even from the early beginnings, you see her dedication to her people and to the god of the realm, um, and that theme and that dedication and willingness to serve Nagash is just compounded over the book, and so by the end of it, you have a strong grasp of her motivations and her character drives.
Yeah, I agree completely. She also gives us a different taste of what death can be. Apparently, she's a death mage. She's a necromancer,
Hmm.
and uh, from the very beginning, they use necromancy as not just like an evil thing, but as this is the realm of death. Necromancy is a thing here. it's a natural for her, and she uses it, and the way she uses it throughout the entire book just sort of grows and evolves along with her character, and I think that's such a nice touch until the how it ends.
I mean, this is early on in the book, but I really want to hit on how Tamara von Drack and her clan use necromancy with their own dead. They, if a member of their family, household, town dies, then they will. And it's a very different style of undead. It's not just the raising of minus automata. It's a recalling of that soul back into the undead form and given life again, so that she might be the leader of her clan, but the wisdom of the previous generations is available to her if she just goes into the crypts and talks to these reanimated ancestors of her own.
Yeah, absolutely. The older village elders or the dead ones are down there. She can summon these spirits for guidance and for help, and the more recent dead are sort of bound to their bodies and become a sort of a living army or an undead army, and that
And
we first meet that with her brother actually.
oh, how much can we talk about this? Because
Uh,
I'm so excited about this.
let's talk around it.
Oh, come on!
All right. Let's just put it
Okay,
out there, and then I'll see if I want to edit it out or not.
okay, I'll say it. So we had this soul bound to her brother's undead form, and as they are fighting against the hordes of Nurgle attacking their homestead, citadel, township, she fights alongside the undead, commanding them, and at the very last moment when her brother is defending her, he raises his sword in what will be his futile final last moments, and he is struck by lightning, and she feels his soul whisked away. Ooh.
That is such a nice moment when you realize what that actually means.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at first when I read it, but then I thought a bit about it like lightning. Oh,
It was just that penny drop moment of like, yes, that is a soul. It's not a mindless undead skeleton. It's just, there's a soul bound to that form who is performing a valiant heroic deed.
I what I really want now is for that character to show up in another book because
Yes.
that's just
And this is it. How do we know he hasn't already shown up? Maybe it's another one of Josh's characters. I actually want to go back through his work now and see if I can find anyone by that name.
oh man, that would be awesome. You should do that. Just like get all the
Just
books, read through them.
start pouring through them all.
That's one of those moments that are just like this is the Age of Sigmar setting. Like you wouldn't get this anywhere else.
Oh, and there's the other one as well that's in the early book. Did you catch that one? The other early Easter egg?
Uh, Maybe
The one that links to the audio dramas. Oh, come on, Alex. You must have spotted this one.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, I was having trouble splitting out all the different Easter eggs.
There's so many. I was going through the book last night, just skim reading it and making notes, and literally I've got about half a dozen Easter eggs that are just in this book.
Yeah, even Tamra's last name, like von Drack,
Hmm.
it's like a simple callback to the old world.
Yeah, I mean it goes back and forth with the connections. At one point in his ramblings, Nagash calls Arkan the old gambler. He calls him, so you're still a gambler, and Arkan doesn't quite understand where that reference comes from.
But anyone who knows his story from the old
His
world,
knows exactly why Nagash thinks that. Yes, there's so many back and forth links to stories from the Age of Sigmar to the Old World. It's such a well-crafted book.
Absolutely. And before we fanboy anymore, uh, we also have the opponents of this book, the adversaries, and they're pretty unique. Now, they're
Oh,
Nurgle, but what makes them different from the Nurgle we're used to seeing, Guy?
oh,
Just to dump all of this on
okay.
you.
No, that's fine. I could rave about this. This is wonderful stuff. I was raving to Sean about it the other day, and you could just see Sean, who loves Bretonia and heraldry and stuff, eyes lighting up as I spoke about this. So first of all, we have the Order of the Fly. They are a group of, model terms, we're talking about Blight Kings and Laws of Plague and that sort of thing.
A lot
Traveling
of
in.
Chaos Knights of Nurgle, I
Lot of
think.
Chaos Knights and Nurgle, yep, exactly that. And they're very much a honor-bound heraldic. Is that a word? I'm making words up again.
Chivalric.
Chivalric, exactly that. They are a knightly order who believe in honor and bravery and respect of their opponents as well. There's so used with most of Nurgle with hearing the jovial, jokey, laughy side, that it was nice to see a group of Nurgle taking things serious, but having that not what I'd imagine, a Khorne evil lord, babbling about taking skulls. It's very much I will take this fight to the enemy and like fighting in serried ranks and not as a rabble but as a knightly order. They're a wonderful group. The two main ones of the Order of the Fly are Thessabite and Vulgus.
Yep.
We get to follow them through their campaign into the north of Shyish. And they are a chapter master, I want to say. Chapter master and just a knight leading the knights forward. But they're very much, bound by their honour. It's a different take. It was great fun to watch. And again, there's another Easter egg here, Alex. I'm not sure if you spotted this one. The Order of the Fly are mentioned in previous books written by Josh Reynolds. The Order's been mentioned in Age of Sigmar books as a knightly order that operates within Ghyran, and their prophetess, the Lady of Cankerwall, is still in the Age of Sigmar, guiding the Order of the Fly with her prophecies. Again, talking about the links that Josh has interwoven in this book with his other books from the Age of Sigmar. It's well crafted. I'm fanboying out again. I've got to stop it.
I almost don't want to stop you. But I agree completely with you. I mean, these guys they're so different from the regular Nurgle. They're really quite Crusader-like. They have a serious religious reason for doing this crusade. They want to spread the plague, and they want to spread Nurgle's gifts. And not just like they want to spread it out, but they genuinely believe that it is for the best of the people that they attack, to spread it, like as if they were like a knightly order on a crusade.
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, it's very well counterpointed when you come to look at the demons they are traveling with. They're traveling with a tallyman by the name of Grum, and he's very duplicitous in his manipulations of the knightly order. He's out for his own ends. And so there is a nice counterpoint between the Order of the Fly being very honor bound and the duplicity of the demons of Nurgle.
Absolutely, and the demons are a lot more like we remember Nurgle. They're a bit happy-go-lucky sort of bunch. Like,
Yes, jovial, but with enough guile to sneak around the edges of truth and honesty.
yeah, because that's not really an aspect that we see much in the demons, that they're actually trying to trick their own allies.
Hmm.
I mean, we expect that from a Tzeentch demon, but not necessarily from a Nurgle one.
Yeah, it was, and it's a nice way of taking um, the stereotypes we know and just adding a fresh twist onto them.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so the next question might be a bit moot, but I always like to ask: does the book capture the imagination?
Yes. Oh, no, it's a wonderful question. It's still relevant. Yes, it does capture your imagination because you can take your Blight King army and your Nurgle Knight army, and you could add a new flair rather than just being a band of marauders trying to spread disease. You could work in heraldry into their corroded plate. You could form your own lances of knights. It just fires the imagination.
Yeah, I really love the idea of Nurgle heraldry. Like, I want to convert Blight Kings with banners, which has like a sub heraldic banner that you could see on a battle standard bearer in the middle of the army, and all this sort of
Maggot on
stuff.
one side, fly on the other.
Oh,
Holding up a chalice that's dripping putrid ooze. Yes.
you should get Sean making that.
Oh, I would love to.
And for me, it also captures the imagination in the sense that it really does a lot with the scale of the setting and with the realm of Shyesh itself.
Yeah.
Like, I felt that I got a real feel for this realm, and that if I wanted to, I could really base my army anywhere within this book. And there was a lot of like small points to like go, all right, this just makes me want to build an army.
Yeah, there's lots of inspiration there from even the undead armies of the Drak that are the recalled souls. You could put more character into your your undead legions if you know that they are not just mindless automatons, that they are the soul the recalled souls of the previous villagers who will fight and die for their village because they are it was part of theirs in life and they will defend it in death.
Yeah, it's their own ancestors or their own descendants or their own brothers
Exactly
and
that.
sisters.
Yep.
And the fun part about that is the recalling soul part is also how the Tomb Kings back in the day used their necromancy.
Hmm.
I
And
don't
how
know if
about?
that's necessarily a reference, but it's
But there's more.
interesting.
There's talking about Tomb King references. There's also bone giants in it at one point attacking the Nurgle group. Um, when talking about locations, Arkham mentions the Scarab City in the south. So there are hints and um, just little hints of things that could be Tomb Kings for those sad few Tomb King players who are still holding on.
Hey, 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 hey. Uh, all right, so we've got a lot of. I think people get that we really like the characters and the
Okay,
story of
okay.
this book.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
so how do we feel? And I think we've probably answered this question already. How do we feel this fits into the series proper? Like, the, does it fill any gaps that we've been missing? Does it expand the setting, or does it like continue any storylines?
oh no, I see where you're coming from now. Yes, when it fills a gap, there is a great spans of time between you know the the Age of Myth was has been briefly covered in a few books. The Age of Chaos is a few lines in the source books of yes, no one was there, chaos was running rampant, but this is a magnifying glass on a realm during that time of chaos where chaos is running rampant and just showing you that it wasn't all their own way, that there was people fighting back.
Yeah, it really. I mean, this is the first uh, full novel set in the Age of Chaos, and
Yeah,
it does show that, and it shows the reference to another desperate fight against chaos,
yeah,
and and I think it also fills the gap in how, or expands the setting in how the Death Lords function in between themselves, especially when you take it in combined with Lord of Undeath.
yeah, yeah. The Mortarks are, you know, whilst they might have their plots and schemes against each other, they are very much coordinating the defense of Shaiish, even, you know, putting their schemes and manipulations aside. This is their realm, and they do want to fight for it.
Yeah, I think it enriches the setting in a lot of ways that
Hmm.
you wouldn't necessarily get in other books, and especially for Death. Like the Nurgle part is really cool, but this is really Death's best book so far.
Yes.
If you like Death, if you collect Death, this has something for everyone.
Yeah.
And so the final sort of part that I like to do in these reviews, because I think people have seen that we like this book.
I
Like it.
think I think people were going to be very jealous about how much we like this book, considering there's only 1,000 of them made, and we have 2 of them between us.
So, yeah, I think we could both probably rave about this book for a
I mean,
good few hours.
the the content of the book aside, it's a beautifully made book. It's you know, it's a beautifully bound in leather with a blue foil. Just a beautiful book before you even get inside the you know, the in-depth content of it.
Yeah, so let's mention that because I mean this is a Warhammer World exclusive book, and they haven't spared on anything in terms of like the look of the book itself.
I mean, I used to, as one of my past jobs was to be a print finisher. I used to make books for a living, and I cannot. Normally, I'd pick up a book, and I will find fault with it. I'll be able to see what's gone wrong with it, or you know, how you know the workers have been lacking in their attention to detail. But this one, the one I've got in my hand, is just a beautifully made, you know, leather bound, hardback book. It's been sewn perfectly. The folding lines up. I mean, I've checked it for faults, but it's just such a well made book to start with. I, you know, can't fault it, and it's beautiful to look at. It really looks nice. I mean, I've got a leather bound set of the Lord of the Rings, and it just looks in place next to it.
And that's not necessarily something you'd expect from a Warhammer book.
No,
And I think my favorite detail is on the spine on the book. There's also a spine detailing. It's ridiculous.
yeah, where the leather's been embossed with skulls on the front and back cover, the spine has a spine embossed upon it.
It's just I when I saw that I did actually laugh.
I mean, even the cover pages are, you know, the initial pages that cover the the cover of the book. They're just, you know, beautiful green swirling like spirit hosts. You know, it's just above and beyond what was necessary. You could have just had 2 blank pages, but no, they put in these beautiful swirly green spirit host pictures in the cover pages.
Yeah, it really makes it feel like it's worth going to Warhammer World to pick this up, or
Yeah,
worth nagging someone you know in England to go pick it up.
you didn't nag. I offered. It was fine.
All right. So the last sort of thing that like in these reviews is, all right, is how can we tie this book into the hobby? What sort of inspiration do you feel, and what things out of the book would you really like to see someone do on the battlefield?
Well, I think we might have covered a little bit this earlier. I mean, initially, the Order of the Flying, the heraldry, and the chivalry of the lances, the lances. What is a group of knights called? A lance?
A
Um,
Bretonnian group would
yeah.
probably be a lance. I think it's
So surely a knightly order of light kings could be a lance of knights. There's that. Uh, I mean, well, I don't think we want to touch too much on what happens in the later story, but there are several armies that come together in the later parts of the book that very much inspire the imagination for different death armies, flesh eater courts, night haunts, and a few others in between. Even just the random dead walkers in the snow that are sent against the Nurgle as they invade the north.
yeah.
Um,
That zombie in the snow image is it's pretty vivid.
yeah.
And
There's so many inspirations in this book of where you can put an army for, how you could put an army together, how you could form an army around just a simple idea in these books.
yeah, and I think one of the things I really would like to see is like the Nurgle Knights. They have their heraldry and all that, but they also
Hmm.
have their bondsmen, which are regular infantry who fight in spear walls and have bows.
Like men at arms and peasantry, yeah, it'd be just great.
I'd love to see Nurgle peasants with bows. And like, oh, that would be amazing. So yeah, I think this is one of those books that if you can and if you care at all about the backstory, you really should pick this up.
It just fills a massive gap within the Age of Chaos that we just know nothing about, and it just puts so much flavour into this brief snippet of history that we've only heard of in a few lines. It actually expands upon what happened, between the Battle of Burning Skies and the beginning of the Realmgate Wars.
All right, so I think that's what we need from this.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, plug, shout out to?
No, I'm not a self-serving promoter.
Leave that for Sean.
Yeah, leave that for Sean. If he was on here, he'd have plugs for half a dozen of projects he's working on. But for me, I have to say thank you very much for having me on, Alex.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's surprising how much easier this becomes when I can let someone else ramble on.
Well, my pleasure, mate. If you ever need anyone to review a book with, you just give me a shout.
And that's it for this minisode. Join me next week when the next minisode comes out, or if you'd like to get the full episode, it's available right now. If you want to contact me, check out my Facebook at Fjordhammer. You can contact the podcast on Twitter at Fjordhammer, or you can contact me directly on Twitter at Darth_Alec. Or if you prefer to send emails, you can send them to fjordhammerpodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, ha det bra!